Hello, I am Siana. I am here today with Malachi to talk about being black and having ADHD. When did you realise that your brain worked different to others?
I think it wasn't when I was really young because I kind of didn't have an understanding. I don't know, when you're young and you don't really know you exist. So I wasn't really thinking about my brain. I realized, I think, when I was a teenager and probably about 16, and I started to have complicated friendships, communicate different, and it was hard for people to understand me, hard for school to understand me. And yeah, I think it was definitely down to communication with people, friendships, and that was a big factor. And it was a lot of challenges. So I would say something, and I thought this was normal. I'd say something, and my brain tells me, and then the person will react like, "Whoa!" And then I'm thinking, "Why are you reacting like that?" And then I realized I'm just saying stuff instead of thinking about it. So that's when I realized that not everyone does that.
What was your reaction when you were first diagnosed with ADHD, and how did others around you respond to that?
To be honest, I wasn't actually diagnosed with it. I'm undiagnosed, meaning when I was growing up, ADHD label wasn't even something that existed. It was just you're hyperactive, you're naughty, you're rude. So I've never actually been diagnosed, but I use that term so understood by others in today's society. And yeah, I think I wish I was diagnosed because sometimes it holds more strength in certain situations. So, but I can remember as young as, I don't know, 4, 5. I remember being told by my family or my mom, um, and in school to behave, stop jumping around, keep still, stop fidgeting. What are you talking about? You're using the wrong words. You're not focused. All these things just happened when I was very young, and it was like overwhelming, very overwhelming.
Can you describe a moment when ADHD made you feel misunderstood or even isolated?
Yeah, so feeling isolated was when I was around friends, around people who who they're my friends, but they don't understand me because they don't understand my challenges or my needs. Feeling isolated when I had a different way of thinking. So my way of thinking about simple situations was just completely different to others. So I would then be kind of left out because I was going left and they was going right with the decision. So it would look like acting abnormal or chatting crap basically because I wasn't going with the grain. Like I would see risk quicker than others because I'd analyze a situation. Even though I got my challenges having ADHD and not being able to control my thought process, I can I've always been able to see risk. I think that's one of the superpowers of having ADHD. See risk before the risk has actually happened. Analyze. And when I used to do that around my friends, yeah, it was definitely something where they'd say, "Do you think you know it all?" Or "What are you talking about? That's not going to happen." Or "How?" Something crazy. And then another other situations is when I'm thinking big because I'm a creative person. So I may not be the best at working 9 to 5. I may not be the best at maths, English. But if you give me something to build creatively, I'll get it done. And to a level where I don't separate myself from being someone like 50 Cent. Same mindset. It's just that he's got more resources. I was always thinking big, massive. Like when I went to university and I said that I'm going to open my own book publishing company, all the academic intelligent people in the class were like, laughing and things like that. So again, I felt isolated even in uni. But when I graduated from uni, got my degree, I opened a publishing book company. So yeah, that's kind of the situation.
Leading on from that question, do you feel like you're at a disadvantage because you have ADHD?
Um, to get the job done in a quick time frame, like if you gave me and 10 others a test, and this used to happen in school as well, gave us a test and we had like 10 minutes to do spelling. It's not that I can't get the job done, I just need longer. So if I had 20 minutes, I'll get the job done. I just need longer to process. So to a certain extent, yeah, it is a disadvantage because I feel like having these challenges from ADHD makes me feel like I'm different, like I can't do it. And some people make me feel like I'm never going to do it and laugh. So, really, all through my life, it's like I've always had to face people laughing at me, challenging me, making me feel like inadequate, making jokes just because of the way I've been thinking. So I've always been at a disadvantage in many things, school, uni, even now, working in the work that I do, when it comes to working with professionals, working at a disadvantage, loads of different stuff. So I'm always at a disadvantage, but I think I use that as a superpower. So the minute someone tries to diminish me or what I can do, in deep down in my heart, I know I can do that, but I'm not gonna let your energy or how you belittle me make me take even longer. I'm gonna do it at my own pace. I'm gonna get the job done, and I'm gonna meet you at the top. If you're getting there academically, I'll get there creatively, but we're still gonna get there.
Do you feel your struggles were ever labelled as laziness or bad behaviour instead of symptoms of ADHD?
Yeah, so I mean, I couldn't. If we're talking about symptoms of ADHD, I remember always fidgeting, tapping. Um, they call it stimming, whether it's tapping something, a hard surface because it's like sensory, or tapping my leg, or rubbing my leg, rubbing my arm. Always have to do something. It was always labeled as bad behavior, always, especially in school. At home, because my mum understood um, children need to be children and express themselves. It was more like putting things in place to keep me active rather than telling me off. I wasn't a naughty child, but I was just very hyperactive. So one example is my name got called so much times by so much people because I was so hyperactive. It came to the point where my name became like a sound. So when someone says Malachi, just in my brain processed it as just a sound. I got so used to it because it was said so much. So I wouldn't respond. But then when someone would say my name to stop me from doing something and I didn't respond, they'd think I'm being rude or they think I'm deliberately ignoring them. I literally couldn't hear them say my name. I'm so engrossed on what I'm doing. I'm so excited. But the school made me feel like, yeah, it was just naughty behaviors, naughty behaviors, naughty behaviors. And a lot of the time, when I felt like it was just naughty behaviors, I then thought to myself, okay, if I'm classed as naughty or bad behaviors, I'm just going to continue that. That's what you're going to label me as. I might as well, because there's no way out. In fact, kind of feeling trapped. There's no way out. I couldn't like act normal without them thinking it's a bad behavior. But I'm like, this is me. Like if I walk into a classroom and I'm doing a little walk or laughing or making humming noises, or tapping, that's me stimming. That's me. Obviously, I didn't know at the time, but that's me regulating from coming in from outside. But the teacher would be like, stop making that noise. Stop walking like that. stop talking, stop this, stop that. And I'm like, you're just trying to compress like who I am. And then I'll just be like, you can't tell me what to do. So then again, bad behaviors. So it definitely was interpreted as bad behaviors, and specifically in school.
Following on from that question, how do you see yourself? How do you view yourself?
So I view myself for many years. I've always viewed myself as a strong character. I was always aware of that, but there was things, a lot of barriers, a lot of barriers in life. I didn't understand what the barriers were and why I had barriers. So I've always had a stutter. So growing up, people that know me, I used to stutter and take ages to say words. Just one word would take me ages to say, and that would stop me from standing up in front of people and speaking. That would stop me from applying for a normal job like telesales on the phone, because I would take long to say certain things, stutter, and people would laugh. So I always, although I was really confident, I always I see myself as really confident, but I always also see myself as, do I actually belong in this society? Like, why is everything around, or school, outside community, friends, why is it not fitted to the way I think? I used to always wonder that question. So I was like a part of society, but did I belong? Because the way that I thought, the way that I done things, the way that I got things done, was just so different. Because there was no one understood anything to do with ADHD, or challenges, additional needs.
And the last question to end it off really nicely. Um, if you could give any young person, adult, anyone that suffers with ADHD a piece of advice, what would it be?
The advice that I'd give them is, give yourself quiet time. Give yourself space to think and like step outside who you are and look at yourself. Write it down, even if you work visually. The things that you do good, the things that you do bad, according to what you'd think is bad or society think is bad, and improve on the good things, because ultimately you want to learn how to manage ADHD. Like, it's never going to go away. It's never something that you just like don't live with. You live with it. And when you feel overwhelmed, simple things, simple situations, it could be you being told by your parents or your friends something's too loud and you respond impulsively, because that's what it's built on, impulsive responses, and you may respond in the wrong way. I think it's a case of understanding that. That's the first thing you need to understand. Who you are, how you manage, your good points, your bad points, what you should be managing in whatever environment you're in, like school. What should you be managing in school, and how would you manage yourself in school? How would you manage yourself in work? Or if you're around certain friends that are bad influences, how would you manage ADHD around those situations? So you really need to do a lot of self-reflection. And the issue is, I was lucky enough to have like supportive family and people that understand, to have that reflection time. And I used to watch a lot of movies and I used to listen a lot. So when I'm listening, I'm taking on board, so I'm learning. Now, if you're not listening to nobody, or you're not taking on wise words, you're not listening to elders, you're not listening to, it could be someone younger than you, but if you're not listening to common sense, wisdom, things that educate you, then you're going to struggle, because you won't have anything to balance your own thoughts with. And that's what you need, because there's loads of thoughts, racing thoughts. Having ADHD, I mean, I'll think about 50 things within 1 minute. But if you don't if you don't manage those things, you're going to be all over the place. And a lot of people have meltdowns. And when I feel like I'm going to crash and have a meltdown, I always done something that I was excited to do. So it was go and play computer to have that calm down, or it was go and watch a movie. And even now, as I'm older, when I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I'll go and watch a movie that I've watched 100 times, an old cartoon, something that reminds me of when I was younger, or a place where I calm myself down. So that's what I would say to young people who are struggling, is find that peace of mind first and perfect how you respond. Because how you respond is then how people then continue to treat you. So if you respond violent, respond loud. If you respond in the wrong way, people who don't understand, you're just going to respond like that. But you can master it if you learn first how to respond. And then that's the first step to understanding ADHD.